Sabrina was a sophomore at DePaul University. She was an international student. Her family moves from country to country because her father works for the United Nations. She was packing for South Africa. Sabrina, in fact, was dropping out of DePaul.
When I got the grant and the scholarship, now I pay $48,000. It's not so hard for my parents because the UN allows us to get 70% from what we've paid, but with a brother who is going to go to college next year, and now the UN is starting to pay less and less amount of money back, it's starting to get hard, especially because the DePaul is really expensive, and I feel like I cannot waste the money that my parents use on my school.
DePaul tuition and fees for 2013-2014 is over $51,000, and each year the total cost has been increasing around $2,000.
Like 2 to 5 or 3 to 5%. That's a standard increase for any academic institutions.
Maybe DePaul wants to increase tuition to account for the money value. International students, the exchange rate of currency may be another factor. You know that the China yuan has increased its value in terms of US dollars. So if DePaul don't increase their tuition, then Chinese students will end up paying less in terms of Chinese currency. The domestic students have financial aid, which is need-based. They can adjust their financial aid according to their family situation. International students, we can only get merit-based scholarship, which is a fixed amount. If your family suddenly suffer from financial crisis, they won't increase your scholarship at all. So I think for international students, it is true that we have to pay more and more each year.
Merit award and other scholarships that the university is paying to international students has gone down a bit over the last few years intentionally, but that's also because international students were receiving a much higher financial aid than domestic students even in the past. So we were discounting the cost of education for international students at a rate that wasn't sustainable and that no other institutions do. So DePaul is trying to sort of come in line with what is standard for universities of our caliber and make sure that we're being fiscally responsible so that we can continue to give great awards to those students who really deserve them because of.
According to the DePaul website, currently, international students represent over 40 countries. However, one of the reasons Sabrina found her DePaul experience wasn't worth the money was that DePaul in fact still lacks diversity, which made international students like her the minority on campus and made it hard for them to integrate with domestic students.
That the main purpose of the international students offices is to help students adapt to the environment, but not so much creating a bond between international students and domestic students.
The increase in college costs, together with the decrease in scholarships, actually further hamper rather than encourage diversity.
I came here for using a scholarship of studying abroad. My parents recommend me to go to their university who's covering for studying abroad. They didn't want to pay for tuition to send me to the States for studying abroad.
Now it's because of the scholarship policy change, more and more people who can pay for it. In particular, Chinese students are coming in. So we have been complaining because there's too many Chinese students. We need more students from other places too. But if the policy is like that, if you only get people who can pay for it, it's not going to be diverse.
The reason why we have so many Asian students is simply because there is a demand, for DePaul education from Asian countries. So we get a lot of applicants. If you go to any other university, you'll see really high numbers from those countries as well.
With the increase in tuition and fees, while scholarships are decreasing, DePaul admits the school hasn't been able to recruit certain well-qualified international students.
So we would love to have those students, and we can admit them sort of on a conditional basis, but if they can't pay, then they won't be able to get the visa necessary to come.
As a solution, the DePaul Office of International Student Services and the Admission Office, in fact, do take into consideration the need to diversify the student body. At the same time, They make sure that the money for admission activities is well spent, or even reduced, by coming up with better admission strategies that utilize current resources.
Strategies is really to use students who are having an excellent experience, allow them to have the information that they need to go and talk to their high school. So that's a great use of resources, instead of paying for additional recruiters or our recruiter to be flying all over the world, we can use our current students, and it's a great professional development for them as well.
The larger implication is only international students who really can afford will be able to attend US colleges. This means that in general, the rising cost of attending college will actually prevent colleges from increasing diversity.